Hi again then guys, and so I just wanted to add some extra information in terms of Gran Turismo Sport updates and news in conjunction with what I already said yesterday regarding the Porsche Taycan coming to Gran Turismo Sport by October. Now that is still happening, that's still probably the part of this news that I'm the most excited about, but I think the other two parts of this news are definitely worth getting into because they're not necessarily as good as you might think in terms of news. And I don't mean the cars, I mean it's the implication of the timeline that has me a little bit concerned. And the reason why I say that is because, put simply, we have two other Porsches which are also confirmed for the game, one of which we've seen for a number of months now, and that is the 917 Living Legend concept, which is kind of a visual design study and of course a throwback and homage to the legendary 917. That is coming to the game, and according to the official Gran Turismo article, which I'll probably include some screen grabs of in terms of proof and backing that it's not just me saying this stuff, that is going to arrive hopefully within the first half of next year. So in other words, 2020. Okay, that's interesting. It gives us an idea of the timeline. The part that concerns me is the final of the three vehicles. Not because of the vehicle, but because of when the vehicle is coming. Now, the Vision Gran Turismo project is something that we haven't revisited in quite some time. There was even speculation as to whether or not it was completely dead at this point, and you could understand that because we haven't had one in quite some time, but Porsche has confirmed that they will be working with Gran Turismo to make a Vision GT car. Now here comes the interesting thing, and the thing which kind of disappoints me about this. In that official Gran Turismo article, they said, and I quote, and you can see it on screen, the Porsche Vision Gran Turismo project is expected to appear within Gran Turismo Sport by the end of next year. In other words, the end of 2020. Now, why is that significant? Well, the reason why it's significant is because it is more or less confirmation that unless the timeline changes and these announcements change and contradict themselves, which is entirely possible when it's polyphony, but even if they do stick to that time frame, that pretty much guarantees we will not be getting Gran Turismo 7 until at least 2021 at the very earliest. Now, some people won't be too bothered by that. Some people still love Gran Turismo Sport. I'm happy for those people. However, the reasons why I'm not as happy with that news are fairly obvious if you've stuck around on the channel for a while, and that is stuff like the fact that the updates that we currently have clearly have less and less thought and effort put into them compared to before. Now you could say, but wait a second, we had the JDM pack, we had Rain coming to the game, we've got Spa coming back, we've got the Porsche Taycan, which you yourself said that you're excited for. That's all true. But here's the reason why I don't like it. If you combine everything that I just said, that still basically just equates to one of the original monthly packs that came out with the game within the first 6 months or the first year. Remember when we used to actually have 10 or 12 cars per update and tracks that people actually asked for, like Le Mans? Where has that gone? Now, fanboy or not, hater or not, you can label me and those who agree with me in whatever way you choose to see fit. But the fact remains, the packs are not like they used to be. They're not the same size, they do not have the same effort put in, they do not have the same frequency, they do not have the same amount of tracks, the updates don't even contain cars and tracks together anymore for the most part, and also the buzz around them and stuff like the trailers, which we talked about of course in Beards and Cars, it's just kind of, it's breaking down before our very eyes. It's turning into this PC bitty release schedule, which simply isn't what it used to be. Now, for the sake of time, I don't want this video to run into like the length of a podcast episode, but suffice it to say that I find this news both cool and disappointing from that point of view, because having new cars in the game is always cool, as far as I'm concerned, unless they're duplicates, of course. But the fact that the timeline is, by definition of these comments, being stretched so far ahead, GT Sport is already a 2-year-old game. And that means that it's basically going to be another year and a half at least, if not 2 years, before Gran Turismo 7 even begins to enter the public eye. Because look at the track record, polyphony almost never, if ever, adds content to a previous game if the new one has been released. In fact, they do quite the contrary, like the Gran Turismo 6 servers shutting down. So I don't think they're going to be releasing a Porsche Vision GT car if they're going to release Gran Turismo 7 the next month. They just don't do stuff like that. So the fact that they're aiming to release that at the end of 2020, I would say easily pushes Gran Turismo 7 into 2022 even. And at the earliest, probably the latter half of 2021. Now, if you're fine with that, that's cool. That's your prerogative. But that is the indicator of this press release, this article, whatever you want to call it. But I found that interesting because it's something which people are missing, I think. They're focusing all in on the cars, which are very cool, but kind of missing what that timeline is becoming because of these announcements. So that's something which I think people need to recognize and be aware of if they didn't already, as well as, of course, those who didn't know that the other two cars were coming. It's just a bit of an update for you there as well. So kind of a mixed feelings update, I think, for me, because new cars, as I said, are cool. Timeline-wise, not so much. But those are my thoughts. Of course, you'll be putting yours down below. Everyone does. And it'll probably be another episode with plenty of opinions going both ways. But that is it for this update video. Of course, I will see you guys next time. And for now, as always, thanks for watching.